Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Nephilim versus Giants, Part 8. We're going to be talking about a very touchy subject today, and it's called, the Mark of Cain. I'm only going to take up a little bit of time here, and then I'm going to go later on to Part 9 and talk about the RH factor. It says on the Mark of Cain, Genesis 3:15, in speaking to the serpent in the Garden of Eden, Brother El said, I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed Cain, and her seed blacks. It shalt bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. As the story goes, the serpent seduced the woman, Eve, and the serpent and the woman were punished for their role in sin. The son whom the woman gave birth to because of the sin and his descendants was also to be punished. This was Cain. The descendants of the serpent Enki would bruise the heel of him who descended from Eve, the woman black-skinned, and the son Cain, and his descendants would bruise the head of the serpent's descendants. Same verse from the journals. Enlil spoke unto his brother Enk, E-N-K, the solver of secrets in the Garden of Eden, and said unto him, I will set deep hatred between you and the woman. I will also set the hatred between your descendants and the woman's descendants. For the seduction of the woman, your punishment shall follow your descendants throughout all time. Your descendants and the woman's descendants will show deep hatred one for the other. Enki's descendants will bruise the heel of the woman's descendants, and the woman's descendants will bruise the head of Enkai's descendants. That is the subject that I'm talking about on the Mark of Cain, and the different races, and how they got here, or how they became, or how they were created on the earth, and why there's different races and where their descendants lie. Now, my descendants come from the Nephilim, the fallen ones, the angels. We're going to go to the segment of the RH negative factor by Betty Rhodes. Nearly 85% of all human beings have RH positive blood. Their blood cells contain a substance called the RH-husus blood factor. This means the positive blood contains a protein that can be traced to the RH-husus monkey. It is acknowledged the blood factors are transmitted with more exactitude than any other human or animal characteristic. It is not known from whence the negative RH factor derived. Not discovered, not found yet. The highest concentration of Rh negative blood occurs in the Basque people of the northern Spain, the southern France, and in the Celtic peoples. Celtic peoples, which includes the Scottish, Welsh, Irish, Cornish, Manx, Bretons, spent a period of time in France near Basque country. It is known by me if the Celtic brought the Aarhuses free blood meaning negative, to the Basque, or the Celtic acquired the bloodline from the Basque. Since there are small groups of people all over the globe in several locations that have the Rh negative blood, I would sooner think that it did originate with the Celtic as they wandered far and wide. The Basque on the other hand, generally speaking, kept to themselves in a territory high in the mountains between France and Spain. But I could be wrong. I also believe that the Celtic were actually the same peoples as the ancient Egyptians, who were also one and the same as the Israelites, not to be confused with the people who call themselves Jews today. Only 15% of the entire world's population are known to have the Rh negative blood factor. While it is known to the Rh negative blood, type O is the purest blood known to mankind. It is not known from where the negative factor originates. The majority of people, especially the native people of Americas, have type O blood, except the Blackfoot Indians, who have 82% type A blood. These native people are the only tribe to have this high concentration of A blood. Most other American Indians have 80% type O. It is the Rh negative factor that makes the blood pure enough to be the universal blood of the world. Everyone on the face of the earth can receive Rh negative type O blood, but these very same O negative people cannot receive blood from any other type except their own type. The three types are O, B, A, and fourth, a combined of AB. Rh negative blood indicates no protein connections to the Rh monkey, Aarhus's monkey, whereas Rh positive blood does carry protein linked to the Aarhus's monkey, hence the Rh, i.e. Aarhus's factor. Blood type O is the most common. Blood type A is the next, and blood type B is after that. Blood type AB is the least common. It is very rare, even as many as 10% of the population, to be of type AB. When we separate the types into negative and positive, we find O negative. The universal donor blood constitutes less than 7% of the world's population. Science at this time is attempting to make the recipe for Rh negative and positive blood can be cloned, but not so of the negative blood, which is quite interesting. If the RH negative factor does not deserve from any earthly link, from where did it originate? Perhaps Zechariah Sitchin would be able to tell us. He would no doubt say it was from the gods. What the big boys say is the RH negative factor is a mutation of unknown origin, which happened a few thousand years ago. So it hasn't been around very long. These negative blooded people spread heavily into the area of what is now Spain, England, Ireland, France, then later into America, Canada, and Australia. A faction of O negative people can be found amongst the Basque peoples. They contain the largest concentration of known O negative blooded people today because they for the most part have confined themselves to one area, whereas the Celtic people have branched out among all the New World. It is evident that Adam and Eve had RH negative blood. The type would have to be O, because Adam was created perfect and would mean the purest blood. Eve would definitely have the same blood as well. Eve's sin was committing adultery with an outsider. Yes, there were other humans on the earth when Adam and Eve were placed here. Eve's sin resulted in the birth of Cain with positive blood. His father, perhaps a Blackfoot Indian with A positive type blood. See chart above. Descendants of Cain were sent out from Adam and Eve into the land of Nod, N-O-D, America. Or maybe Cain's father was a Lapp, L-A-P-P, who again had A positive blood. Cain's family were sent into Nod, which could mean the extreme north, a good place to send Cain, and America wouldn't be much of a punishment. The Blackfoot Indians do have the highest concentration of A blood. However, the descendants of Cain would have confined themselves from the outside races of people because they were marked in some way and were fearful of death if they ventured out into the world. Blood was and still is sacred to God, to the God of Israel. When the Israelites were kept in the wilderness for 40 years, a biblical generation, perhaps it was to cleanse their blood. After many years of intermarriage with A positive and B positive blood types, their once pure bloodline was becoming corrupt. This once clean breed of people were instructed to many only within the other Israelite tribes, thus preventing contamination of their bloodline by producing only Rho negative children. The Israelites were given a promise land after their long quarantine in the wilderness. but only the younger generations were allowed to enter the promised land. Those under the age of 20 who were born in the wilderness with two negative Israelite parents, when these younger Israelites were set free to go down to the promised land, they were instructed not to marry outside their own tribes, and strictly hygienic instructions were imposed upon them as well. But eventually the Israelites scattered in all directions, marrying other than Israelite spouses, and the positive blood in all types soon took over, and today 85% humans are positive. An Rh negative pregnant mother's body will reject the positive blooded baby in the womb. Her body fights in the Rhesus factor as a foreign element. A positive mother's body does not fight the negative baby she is carrying. However, there are certain similarities that occur to those having Rh negative blood. According to some who have it, there are common patterns found, which include the following: predominance of green hazel eyes that change color like a chameleon, but also blue eyes; true red or reddish hair; 3. Low pulse rate; 4. Low blood pressure; 5. Keen sight of hearing; episode 7. Extra rib or vertebrae; 8. UFO connection; 9. Love of space and science; 10. A sense of not belonging to the human race; 11. Piercing eyes; 12. Paranormal occurrence; 13. Psychic dreams; 14. Truth seekers; 15. Desire for higher wisdom; 16. Empathic illnesses; 17. Deep compassion for fate of mankind; 18. A sense of a mission in life; 19. Psychic abilities; 20. Unexplained scars on body; 21. Capability to disrupt electrical appliances; 22. Alien contacts. Now, we're getting close to time out here. We're getting close to time out here. So I'm going to continue on the Rh factor. There's not very much left of this note in part 8, and then we will discuss maybe in one of my book references. Thank you for watching, and make a comment on my post on Facebook. See you on part 8.